Here's a question for the ageist. Let's say you were having sex with someone and it became patently aware to you that this person was your long-lost brother. Whether you're gay or straight, would you continue having sex with this person? Now, granted, if you're gay, there's not breeding, but I would imagine that even if you were gay and you found out you were having sex with your brother and you didn't know this person was your brother, and then you found out this person was your brother, you would be mortified. Now, you know why incest is illegal. It corrupts the human genome. If you had produced offspring from this romance with your brother, you're a woman and you're having sex with your brother, and you found out that he was your brother, and you had a child, wouldn't you then have to admit that that child was mentally retarded, and that through no fault of your own, of course, you were aware now why your child was mentally retarded? Wouldn't you have to admit that your child was retarded? Well, of course you would. It's not an altogether bad term, it's just a medical term. Retardation. It could even be mental illness, but you would have to admit that by having sex with your sibling and you had a child, that child is retarded. Well, the technical term for that retardation is telomere attrition. And what that is a shortening of the chromosome ends that control aging. So the body ages more, the brain ages more, which leads to a more susceptibility to mental illness and every other physical problem of the human body, and every other life form on Earth is caused by something that leads to telomere attrition. Now, let's say I were to tell you that having sex with males under the age of 35 and producing offspring was the same thing, if not worse, than having sex with your brother and producing offspring. The reason I say this is because there's been studies that telomere attrition has occurred in inbreeding, as well as attrition of the chromosomes through breeding with men under the age of 35. Wouldn't you have to admit that this society is kind of retarded? Aren't we all kind of retarded? I mean, you look at it, there's more mental illnesses and more technology. There's more of us, but there's also trillions of ants, and none of the ants have decided to build a nuclear arsenal in order to attack either aphids or lions, even though there's more of them. So you look at inbreeding and the royalty, and the economy, of course, collapses about every 100 years, and there's a change of the house and a changing of the guard, and there's new royalty around because, like with the Habsburg dynasty in the 1550s, there's more retardation, like the Habsburg jaw, incest, depression, and all sorts of other problems, because the royalty, you have to admit, is all inbred and retarded, which of course passed on to everybody because they were the ones that controlled the line, and it was not seen as taboo to have sex with your sister or your brother or your cousins because it was holding power and nobody knew anything medically about that. Well, now we know that having sex with males under the age of 35 is probably worse than inbreeding. And you look at this, and there's been 5 market crashes since 1819 in the United States, which means there's a stock market crash that's devastating to the world every 20 years, and there's war every 20 years, and we've been at war with the Arab world for 26 years in a row. I think it's time to look at the fact that breeding with men under the age of 35 is just as bad, if not worse, than breeding through incest. If you'd like to talk to me personally about this, send me an email. Try to keep it civil. My name is Lucas Horner, and just go to my website. My website is called Conversation Our Age, because we really need to look at this as a problem like racism, because you know that multiracial causes an elongation of the telomeres. Well, intergenerational causes an even longer telomerine of your child's chromosome. So once you go black, you never go back. But once you go older, your telomeres are less older. I don't know. I'm not really euphoric right now. I just had a bunch of French fries, so I'm chilling out. Hey, don't blame me. I've lost 175 pounds. I can get away with it. Maybe you can't.